All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the previous session unveiling the landscape. A whole bunch of research that Franz and I have done around that. Had a chance to visit with some of the wonderful sponsors who help support all this work. And now we're excited to take on the Stackies 2022. So if perchance you're just joining us here at this session, I'm Scott Brinker. I'm the editor of chiefmartech.com, also the VP of Platform Ecosystem, and I'm joined by Franz.
Yes, my name is Franz Riemersma, and I'm founder of Martech Tribe. We help companies to benchmark their stack and find new tools for them to make it grow. And based on that, that's based on a lot of research we do, and that's what we're sharing today most of the time. So stacks, I love them, and it's very exciting to see how many entries we had this year, Scott. Amazing.
Yeah, this is always my favorite time of year. I will give one more shout out to the sponsors who helped make this all possible. The Learning Experience Alliance, formerly Martech Alliance, OfferFit, Workato, SAS, Amplitude, and the wonderful platform we're using for this event, Goldcast. I won't do all of the sponsor pitches again, but if you download the State of Martech report, that's in the docs there, you also have some information in there about each of them. So the Stackies, yes, I mentioned this is like my favorite thing. We've been doing this now, I guess this is the 8th year of doing the Stackies, and it started way back in like 2015. I was at an event, I saw some people start to share the collection of different tools they were using, how they were thinking about them fitting together. And it was fascinating, right? Because for all this technology that we see, in MarTech, again, these are simply ingredients into the soup, and it's really the marketers who are the chefs in the kitchen, how they organize these, how they combine them, that is really where the magic happens. And so the Stackies started as an opportunity to get a window into how many different marketers think about their MarTech stacks. The basic rules are you share a 16:9 slide. You have complete design freedom, and some people take tremendous freedom with a design, to be able to share, not just the tools that you're using. In fact, we have some Stackies that don't actually mention tools by name, but more importantly, like the conceptual structure, of how these things fit together. And so over the years, oh my goodness, I think we've had nearly 300, of these Stacky slides sent in. And every year we publish all of them free and open. There's backlinks on all this stuff on chiefmartech.com, because this really is one of the most generous things, that marketers can do to the community is share their perspective, share their experience of what they're doing, because in aggregate, looking at all these different examples becomes a way that we as a community really learn what's possible here. So I am super excited here for the 2022 Stackies that we have received 32 qualified entries, and we're going to go through a fair number of them now. And the deal is, sometimes for award contests, they require you to pay money to enter. We've gone the exact opposite route, through the history of the Stackies, because we think this is such a valuable contribution to the community. We've always made the commitment every year, that for each qualified Stacky that gets sent in, we will donate $100 to a nonprofit, on behalf, of all the contributors. Normally we've, made those donations to, some wonderful, nonprofits, who primarily help with, diversity, equity and inclusion, in the MarTech industry, organizations like Girls Who Code. This year, just given, the situation, on the world stage right now, we felt this donation was going to be better spent to the International Rescue Committee, which is one of the organizations helping refugees from the Ukraine. So again, my my thanks, Fran's thanks, our thanks, to the contributors of the Stackies, and we're very happy to make this donation, on their behalf. So, we're going to go through a bunch of these, and we'll culminate up with the winning stacks. But I always have to say this disclaimer. We pick winners because, hey, as an awards thing, it's fun. We can shout out particular visualizations that we thought were particularly cool or interesting or novel. But the truth is, everyone who contributes to the Stackies is a winner in our book, because again, this is just such a valuable contribution to the community. So yes, you're all winners, but also, just to keep the perspective, ultimately what makes a MarTech stack a winning MarTech stack is really just the bottom line of, does it work for your business? Does it make you successful? Does it give you the capabilities you need? Are you getting the outcomes you want? All the other fancy illustrations and whatnot, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It's are you getting the results? So with those disclaimers, well, let's dive into some fun, graphics. And all of these, by the way, are in the, literally all of the submissions are in that State of MarTech 2022 report, so you can download them. I'm going to go through some of these examples in alphabetical order. We saw the AMA of Philadelphia sent in their stack. This is kind of cool, right? You've got marketers using MarTech to market to other marketers about, yeah, it's multidimensional, but yeah, a very clear set of tools that they're using for that. The folks at Annam, who are a planning software solution, kudos for a very cool illustration that they had put together. You can start to dig into one of the things I love about these stacks, and this speaks to Franz's long tail graphic from the previous session, is yes, well, there's a set of common things you see very often across a lot of stacks. Almost every stack has one or two or three things oh wow, I'd never even heard of that tool, and this is a unique thing. So let's check out Ubersuggest, and let's check out Sparrow Charts. So it's fun to do a little bit of discovery of seeing what these different companies are doing. Great stack from Cvent, the platform for managing events. Clearly have organized the different capabilities into these different buckets. Great to be able to do some discovery there. I love how they think about, this legend on the left, of the different jobs to be done that they're applying these marketing technologies towards. Let's see here. We've got a ton of these. I know time is short, so please, again, when you download the full State of MarTech report, you can pour into these. But we see just wonderful varieties. This is one from the agency Digital Reach. How they think about different stages of what they're doing, with their technology for clients. Every now and again, the Stackies, some of these entries have some very fun metaphors. I thought this one of climbing to the top of the summit of marketing was a good one. Let's see. EC, Hispanic Media, so a conglomerated media company, the stack they use and the different phases they think of how they're engaging with clients and on behalf of clients. Elastic Co, which is a product for managing software in the cloud. Definitely a larger MarTech stack. They've taken the time to really map out, what happens, at these different stages of, the customer journey of inform, acquire, engage, and then ultimately measure that. And then they've also called out the management tools that they use, as Franz and I were talking about that whole category earlier. So very cool to see that. Esri, which is software and data for location and GPS management. They've entered multiple years with some really great designs. So thank you, Esri, for being a repeat contributor to the Stackies. You can see sort of, they've created the different layers, the rings of Saturn or the rings of the MarTech world, and which ones are associated with acquisition or retention or, comms and collaboration, productivity. So a cool way to discover those. Ink for All. And again, this is actually one of the things when we see stacks come in, some of them are large, some of them are small, some of them are from small businesses, some of them are from giant public companies. It's not the size of your business or the size of your stack that matters. Again, just contributing, these different examples are incredibly helpful. Lob, which is an advertising solution. Clearly like rock stars in what they do. But again, like sort of a nice way to like break this up into the different categories: communications, content, contacts, connections, customer data. Some of you might remember that from like these, 7 C's, models that we talked about before. And again, it's nice, people don't always have to put the individual products on these, but when they do, it's helpful to just sort of see which ones are appearing. Lob does a nice job of, since they're a MarTech vendor themselves too, showing where they fit into those stacks. All right, LTI, which is a large consulting services provider. This is just a cool graphic. So this is clearly like, the demand funnel, attract, engage, demand, nurture, convert. And then the collection of tools that they're using across those. Again, some tools are repeated from multiple stages. Some are specific to a particular stage. Sort of gives you a chance of a good view into how the set of things that we tend to be working with very often does evolve across the customer journey and how we're engaging with them. Oh man, there's something I have to get to here. All right, I'm going to speed this up a tad. Lumivate, a wonderful no-code platform, and their MarTech stack. This was one from Prism HR, and again, speaking to not always having to include the specific products that you're using. Prism HR is a HR software platform. And I thought they just did a really nice way of like illustrating the flow of how they think of the different technologies in their stack and their relationship to each other. Just a really nice simple architectural diagram. Syngene. We love this stack. And I confess, if we would have had 6 winners instead of our traditional 5, this would have been the 6. They've done a really great job of like organizing things into these 7 C's of content, campaigns, channels, cognition, conversation, and conversion. There's also this, the legend here on the right where you get to see they have, a set of these tools that they really think of as marketing operations, what's happening behind the scenes. From the top, that's really focused on customer journey, things that are directly touching, the customer. And then, in between those two, this calibration that happens orchestrating all of it. So, wow, amazing Stackies, Syngene. You are definitely a winner in our book. So let's see, one more here. Topenland, which is based out of Vietnam. I believe they are a real estate provider there. So have to dig a little bit more deeply into Topenland. And then one last honorable mention is the folks at Whirlpool, North America, who sent in the collection of tools they're using for user engagement, activation analytics, data management, and optimization. I also thought it was pretty cool that they have IoT apps that they think of, as part of the MarTech stack, and with connected devices, intelligent devices like your washing machine and dryer. This is all sorts of cool stuff, become open there. So great to see this. Boy, all right, I could carry on this forever, but I know we're short on time. One of the challenges we had this year were so many great stack designs here. So we made a bit of an executive decision that there were a series of folks who had entered and won last year, who entered this year with, again, amazing stacks. They're truly like, yeah, winning designs. But we also want to take the opportunity to share the love a bit, you know. So we want to recognize these as winners from last year that are updated this year, still winners in our book, and then share with you some new ones that will be winners this year as well. So first up is Juniper Networks. This is an evolution of the Stacky that they shared last year in 2021, where they're sort of looking, you know, at this combination of, you know, on the y-axis, you know, different capabilities, kinds of capabilities, what they do decompose, and then the customer journey, you know, horizontally is the deconstruct. It is great. Juniper's entered like almost every year for like 5 years or so here. So it's phenomenal. If you go back to all of their old Stackies to be able to see how it's evolved year over year. Another entry who won last year, updated their Stacky, was Itaú, the bank headquartered out of Brazil. Again, no specific vendors listed here, but an amazing job, you know, of connecting like all these different capabilities, you know, how they see the relationship between them, you know, for a larger enterprise being able to like sort of go through this map and understand it and see how it maps to what you do. I think, yeah, definitely just want to, this is a really great contribution to the community. So cheers to Itaú. Let's see here. Oh, Philips. You know, Philips actually had won multiple years in a row, and boy, we could have easily like declared them a winner again this year. This is definitely one that you have to like download and like zoom into to like really look at for the different clusters across this, you know, ecosystem metropolis that they have in their MarTech stack. Being able to zoom in on the different tools that they use for each of them. We have to bring the Philips folks back for a chat to like walk through this. They just bring terrific insights to how intentional they are for a very large company with a very diverse set of capabilities, you know, how they orchestrate all of this together into a coherent stack. And then the last one from last year, back again with an amazing one, are the folks at SAS. This is, I believe, the third year in a row that they've contributed to the Stackies. I kind of think this is their best one yet. It's a, you know, a combination of organizing things within particular capabilities, like, you know, what we're doing for social media monitoring or events and webinars or SEO and metrics, but also, you know, along that top line, allocating things, you know, again, some of the customer journey from awareness to land, adopt, expand, and renew, and then a bunch of what they think of as their foundational capabilities underlying all of this. So SAS, thank you for the Stacky. Thank you for also sponsoring the event here today. Whew. This is quite a whirlwind, right, friends?
It's amazing. And when you were showing these stacks and we went through them before, this is not just indeed a visual. It's much more than that. And what I see many companies struggle with or trying to get their heads around and arms around is, how do I organize my stack? How do I visualize it? So where can I see where the connections are of my customer data model? How does it translate in KPI frameworks and come back again? And so I think it looks maybe trivial and visuals and nicely polished, but I think it will become foundational, these stack representations. And it comes in many flavors, like a MarTech blueprint or reference architecture. I don't care. It's all the same. Trying to understand what tools do we have and how do we drive value, linked to processes, to goals, and amazing. I'm deeply impressed.
Yeah, I'm always so grateful for all these contributions. And again, in fairness, you know, when you're designing these things for your own internal use, yeah, you don't need to make the, you know, the fancy metaphor of, you know, how these things are illustrated. That's I think admittedly a little bit of fun that people have with the Stackies, which is great. It kind of, makes it fun for us visually too. But to your point, Franz, I mean, where the real value is, is taking the time to just systematically map out what are the tools we have, what are the capabilities we're applying them for, how does that relate to whether it's the customer journey or the data flow or the flow of work inside our organization. There isn't necessarily even one view. We've seen a number of companies that when they go through the exercise of visualizing their stack, through several different lenses, each one of them provides a unique and educational a view on what is actually there and how we leverage it. All right, are we ready for the winners? All right. First one for the folks at Autodesk. Second year for them submitting. We thought this was just a very clean but well-represented Stacky. There are essentially two layers of what's happening here. This is a pattern we've now seen across a number of these where, from an architecture perspective, they're thinking of systems of engagement, systems of orchestration, and systems of unified intelligence. But then on the, top side of this, they look at the customer journey, as people discover, consider, buy, onboard, use, and extend. And they've essentially then mapped how that journey ends up going to different activities that they're doing along those journeys and which of those systems that are being plugged into. You'd have to zoom in to look at the little logos to see which particular tools they're using. But again, in some ways, it's almost like the flow of this is really, where the greatest insight is. And the tools are just kind of cool to know.
Yeah, what's really great here is that you can really tell, okay, which data is sitting where. So you have, of course, data to collaborate, but there's also customer data, which is the most important data you have. And where does it sit across the journey? Where do I need what content and what data? I love this one.
All right, our second winner. It is not always the size of the Stacky, that wins. This is a terrific one for Rabobank, who based in the Netherlands. While we love the companies based in the Netherlands, that wasn't the reason why we picked them as a winner. But it's nice to see so many of the international contributions this year. But the reason we picked this one is because it really had a very clear focus on saying, like, how do folks go from raw data to the right message for every customer, and walking through this journey of, well, of course, we're collecting the data. We then have to figure out how to, second step, unify it. The third step is what we do to enrich it. The fourth step is being able to make predictions based upon that data. The fifth step of then, creating content and offers, that then match, to those predictions. And then the final stage of actually activating that in delivering it to prospects and customers. And again, they've shouted out to specific tools they're using along the way for this is helpful. But just thought the journey was really clean and elegant.
Yeah, that's what I really like about this one is that it's, and there are more, of course, that are showing a process, but here it's really like, okay, we have different tools and they are supporting each part of the process that we do internally to enrich the data. And that's really cool because normally, as we said before, technology is not solving anything if you don't have a purpose or a process for it. And I like this one. It's really great. Thanks.
All right, number 3, REA Town, which is from the REA Group, a very large real estate company based out of Australia. Again, shout out to the wonderful international contributions to the Stackies this year. And again, what we liked about this one was it's fascinating to see. This is clearly the year of the city metaphor of all these different Martech towns. I'm making my way to Martech Town. There's a song in there somewhere, I'm sure of it. But what they've done is they've organized these different clusters of capabilities very thoroughly. Map them out here for these clusters of capabilities and included the different tools that they're using. I think one of the things I also wanted to shout out for them is I thought they did a good job of representing that it's not just commercial packaged MarTech here, but it is also, you can see some of the custom development that they're doing, leveraging things like, Kafka, on like event streaming. They've got, in the house of experimentation, they're doing stuff with like Python and Docker, and so it's sometimes hard to represent, the fact that there's some custom software in the MarTech stack. We thought this one did a nice job of that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think maybe in the future landscapes, when we will look at different technology subcategories, enabling technologies like Azure and Google platform and what have you need to have a big place in that. But then if I'm looking at the Q&A, there's a question in there talking about what is MarTech or what isn't. Well, as everything is fragmenting, atomizing, so to speak, that will be hard, because with Azure or Google, you can build a lot of tools yourself. So let's move on.
I kind of think like MarTech is basically any technology that marketers are using, but we'll save the philosophical debate for a future event. All right, 2 more winners we want to shout out to. This next one, Sargento, who again is a company that's entered multiple times in the Stackies over the years, so we're incredibly grateful. It's again one of the great things about these multiple year entrants is you do get to see year over year the evolution of the stacks of these particular companies and how they're thinking about them, which is just super valuable. But we thought they did a really cool job this year. If you look at this main journey through the middle, right, the top layer is basically what the customer journey is, and then the gray layer underneath that is really Sargento's role, in serving the customer journey, and then the technologies they use at each stage.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what you see more and more in stacks happening, that they combine the outside world, the client experience, then the process that we do internally as marketers. And oh yes, then we need technology to support the whole process. But this really helps to see what role is technology playing where. Love it.
Yeah, and again, another great thing about the diversity of folks entering stacks is, stacks are different depending on your business, and so for a company like Sargento, very different than, say like a bank and how they're thinking about it, very different than a software company, very different than a real estate group, and so it's really great to just see the variety there. All right, we have one more. Wow, drum roll, please. And this is to the folks at Verizon. Again, another multi-year entrant, but we thought their entry this year was particularly good. Again, different stacks for different industries, companies in different spaces, here in telecommunications and, the highly diversified businesses. Verizon, that is a challenging one to wrap your head around. I think they did a really great job here of sort of, counterclockwise, looking at, the journey from reaching people to engaging them, to converting them, to then being able to measure that. They've broken out different activities within each one of those, whether it's demand generation or, life cycle marketing, and then some of the tools that they're using in each one of those. Just very clean, readable. A cool Stackie, Verizon.
Yeah, congratulations. Really great to see. And I like it when, things are circling back and you learn, because that's all you can do. We're all making a lot of mistakes, and that's the only way to learn. So that's what I like about this Stackie, that every single circle you make, cycle you make, you learn. And I love that. By the way, it comes to mind, there used to be a lot of infinity loops in visuals of Stackies. I'm not sure if I've seen a lot this year.
Yeah, no, this was clearly more of the year of the cityscape. So yeah, we'll have to ponder what these different patterns imply. But wow, okay. I'm always amazed how quickly these Stackies run by. Again, our enormous gratitude and thank yous to everyone who contributed a Stackie. This is, just a wonderful service to the community. These are all now available in that free State of MarTech report. And Franz and I just want to thank all of you for, coming to attend MarTech Day. We hope you have other MarTech Day celebrations in mind. yeah, we're looking forward to continuing to engage with you on other channels from here.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. And please feel free to reach out to us with any questions and comments and contributions to the never-ending task of updating MarTech. MarTech is never done. Thank you so much.
True. Hey, listen, if you guys want, there's some networking rooms that are going to be open for the next 30 minutes. So right after this closes, feel free to jump in there if you want to chat with any friends. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Take care.